Hello, my name's Dave Waller and I'd like to welcome you to this tutorial on adding sun rays to your images using Photoshop. We've all seen images with sun rays bursting through clouds or through trees or through an open window and wondered how we could get that same effect in some of the images that we already have at home on our computers. I'm going to walk you through that process today with a method that's worked pretty well for me. I'm going to try to keep it short and fun. We should have a good time. So I'm using Photoshop CC 2014, although you could use basically any of the latest versions of Photoshop, CS5, CS6, even Elements. I haven't tried this with Elements, but I'm pretty sure the process would work just the same. So let's get started and have some fun. I already have an image open here that I'd like to have some sun rays in. You'll notice over here on the right in my layers palette that I have already created a duplicate layer. It's critical that we have that because we're going to do a layer mask here. So we look at our image and we decide, the first thing we have to do is decide where we want these sun rays to come from. And what I'm showing you up here is this is about where I would like to see those sun rays come through the trees. So let's get started and have some fun. The first thing I want you to do is come up to where it says Image, left click on that, come to Adjustments, and a new window will open up. Slide over and then down to where it says Threshold. Left click on that, a box will open up. It'll say 128. Highlight that and I want you to put in 100. I find this is a really good place to start this process. After you get used to the process, you can play around with those numbers and get different looks and different effects. But 100 is really a good place to start. Once you have your 100 in there, click OK. You'll see it's turned our image into a black and white with super high contrast. The next step we're going to do is we're going to go up to Filter. Left click on Filter, the box opens up again. We're going to come down to Blur, slide over and come down to where it says Radial Blur. Left click on Radial Blur. Now you'll see several things that you can do here. The first thing I want you to do is take the amount slider, slide that over to 100. You need to go to Zoom, click on Zoom, and we want to click on Best. Next thing I want you to notice is that if you left click in the center of this box, you can slide that zoom blur all over the place, wherever you want it to be. And since we decided that we wanted the blur to come basically from this area of our picture, I'm going to take this and slide it up to the top, and not all the way over to the right hand edge, but in just a bit to about where I feel that is in the picture. I'm now going to click OK. And we wait for Photoshop to do its thing. So while Photoshop is processing that, I'll take a second and tell you, you can use this method and this process on just about any picture that you have. It's fun to be creative and try to throw some sun rays from crazy places or any place that you'd like on your image. It's loads of fun to do. It only takes a few minutes and you can get some pretty interesting results. So Photoshop is finishing up here and we'll soon have our sun rays bursting through the trees. Okay, there we go. Now we've got the sun rays coming from basically about the spot where I hoped it would be. And they're coming down in the right direction across the screen. So obviously you can't see the picture at this point. So the next thing in our process is to come over to our layers palette. And I want you to double click on the highlighted layer. However, don't click on the words. All that's going to do is open up a box that'll let you rename that layer. Come out here in an open area and left double click. What this is going to do is open up your blending modes palette. You'll notice here where it says blend mode, it says normal. I've found that there's two blend modes that work really well with this process. Now I'm going to click on this to get the drop down, and lighten and screen work really well with this. You can try the other ones, you can try anything you want. For this particular image I'm going to use screen. I'm going to left click on that and that brings back my base for my image, my base layer, and we have the sun rays coming out through the tree. Once you have that, you can click on OK. I'll also note that if it looks a little too strong to you, you can come up here where it says fill, it says 100%. Click on that, drop down, you'll get a slider. You can drop that back as far as you'd like to get the look that you want. I'm going to take it back just a little bit so that I get just a little bit more detail. You see this is washed out, but we're going to take care of that. So once you get that, click on that. Okay, now we're back in this layer. Again, there's places in this picture where I don't think you would normally see a lot of the sun rays. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to our layer palette. We're going to come down below to this box with the little black circle in the middle of it. We're going to left click on that, and that's going to create a layer mask. Once you have that layer mask created, I want you to come over and grab a brush, just a normal brush. Come up here, make sure that you have, it should be a round brush for what we're going to do with this image. The hardness you can adjust to hard edge or soft edge by sliding this slider. I keep it fairly soft. And the other thing you need to be concerned with is that you need to have black as your foreground color. If this box is not black, you can click on it. You can click anywhere in these colors. You can slide this up and down. But what you basically want to do is come down here to the left bottom corner, all the way in the corner, and click that. That will give you an absolute black. Click OK. Now we've got a brush selected. We've got black. We're going to come over and click inside our layer mask. And also I'll show you up here under my opacity. I like to keep my opacity somewhere between 20 and 25% so that I do this gradually. Now you can turn that up to 100% and take this all out in one shot. However, I like to do it gradually so I have a little more control. I'm going to use my bracket keys to adjust my brush size, and I'm just going to start brushing in that area to take out those sun rays where I don't want them to show. Okay, adjust my size a little bit. I think I might want to take a little bit out up here. Now I had talked about how this is washed out just a little bit. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger, and again this is a good example of why I like to keep this at 10 to 20, 25%. I'm going to start brushing in here and start bringing back a little bit of that boardwalk from the original layer, the base layer. And just build that up gradually and bring back some of that original image. Just a little bit in the sides there. And basically that's the whole process. It's that simple. You can do more work as you feel fit with the image that you have, but that's basically the whole process. I'll show you another example. I've taken the same image, I've converted it to a black and white, and what I've done, you can convert to black and white through any process that you like. Nik Silver Effects is good, any other process. But once I had this in black and white, I also took this into Nik Color Effects and added 2 or 3 layers of fog, and then used a layer mask to blend those back in and bring back some of the detail in that image. So it's a fun process. There's just so much that you can do here. Here we have the black and white, here you have the color. It's a matter of personal taste. Do what you want, always have fun. I'll show you one more example here. This is from Fort Delaware. This is a hallway in the fort, and basically what I've done is I've placed my center of my zoom blur, or my sun rays, if you will, over here. And after I got them in there, I came back with my layer mask and I had to mask out all of this arch, all the top over here, this wall, because you wouldn't see the sun rays. They wouldn't wrap around on this. So you just erase them or use your layer mask there. Use your layer mask to take them out over here. Again, it's just a matter of playing around with it and trying different things. It's been fun showing you how to do this. I hope that you'll visit my website, dwphotoworks.com. From there you can get to my blog. Each Tuesday I have a blog post, and I'll have tutorials like this, or I'll just talk about things with photography that I'd like to share, just my recent ramblings. Had fun doing this with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's useful for you. Again, this is Dave Wooler, DW Photoworks. Have a good time, and always, as I always say, be creative. Thanks again for dropping by.